everybody? Welcome to the Good Info Show. How are
right.
you?
I'm good. Well,
I wanted to bring the energy for you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that because I'm lacking. But I'm good. Can't get my family healthy. My identity might be being stolen. That's probably not true. I hope it's not.
Man, you're going through it, huh? That's tough.
We were up most of the night last night because of a sick child not feeling well. So, he's letting us know he's not feeling well. No problem there. Woke up this morning to a text message that I thought the text was fraudulent because it appeared to be from... It
felt like a phishing one?
Yeah, it appeared to be from my bank, and it was like, do you recognize this charge? Reply yes or no. And I'm like, well, there's no link, so that's kind of a weird fraud message that... Like, are they trying to bait me into responding and then they're going to get me? So I ignored it. I went to my banking app, and the first thing that pops up when I open the app was the same message. And I was like, uh-oh. So,
did you see the charge?
Yeah, I don't know.
Someone trying to buy 3 iPads?
Basically.
In Bangladesh? They
tried like 4 or 5 times to submit the same order. And to my bank's credit, they declined it every time because they basically flagged it as suspicious. And I don't know what they were trying to buy, but it was like... $140-something of some sort of online service of a popular tech company that does not sponsor this show.
Okay.
But anyway, I don't know what they were trying to buy.
Huh.
But I called the bank, and they were like, yeah, let's freeze your card, first of all, so that doesn't keep happening.
That sucks.
Then they looked at everything, and they were like, yeah, you're going to want to replace your card because we can't figure out where it came from,
course.
What they were doing, how they got it, all this stuff. So now I have no card. Hey,
sucks,
that's
man.
Better than having no money because
that's true.
They
or a mortgage company coming back to you and be like, "Why did you buy this $500,000 house?"
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah,
on your new
you
home.
owe us $4,500 a month.
Yeah. No, so I mean, it worked out as good as it possibly could.
Yeah, you caught it.
And anyway, that after the night we had to wake up to that. I was like, all right.
Yeah, you're
what's
like,
next?
I'm gonna come into work and everyone's quit but me.
The ceiling, it's one of those things where it's like you expect to walk out of your house and a piano falls on you.
Yeah,
like that's just how today's felt. But it's fine
gosh.
Because for me, it's about getting back to work and attacking the day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
There you go.
A little
well, I
callback.
can tell we both decided to wrap up the spooky season with some scary shirts.
Oh yeah. This is
strange, dark, and mysterious.
I'm paying homage to the best storyteller on YouTube.
Nice. Very cool.
I'll leave it at that. If you want him, you'll find him.
The Bloomin' Onion shirt makes a return.
Yes, welcome back.
Bloomin' Onions in and of themselves aren't scary, but what they do to you is scary.
Yeah, dude, I almost found out. My wife and I went on a date last week, and or this past weekend, and we did not go to Outback, but we went to a similar restaurant.
Establishment.
Yeah. That has a similar item under a different name.
Right.
And we ordered one, and it never came.
Oh,
and then they
man.
tried, and we were like, whatever. They probably the waiter probably just forgot. And then we got the bill, and it was on the receipt. And I was like, hey, can you take this off, please? Because we never got it. But it was fine. We had plenty of food.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I did not have to endure the spookiness that would have endured that night or the next morning.
Yeah, I was going to say the next morning is when you'll feel it. You'll feel it. So, all right. Well, I don't have anything interesting to talk about.
Yeah, top that.
Yeah. we're just vibing.
Yeah. Well, good.
Wife was feeling weird this weekend.
Yeah.
So we stayed home. I worked from home Monday while taking care of her. So that was a long day.
Yeah.
But she's better now.
Good.
She's good. We have no idea what it was. But she had what we think is an ocular migraine for the first time.
Ocular?
Yeah.
As in eyes?
Yeah, because we were getting ready for bed.
I know.
She was like, I have a headache in the back of my head.
Oof.
And then she went, oh, I've never had this happen before. And she said she saw the flashes, like, through her eyes, where stuff was like she was seeing bright flashes of light. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, you're having an ocular migraine, probably.
Yeah.
She didn't die.
Well, good.
Just, So, and we've talked about this before, but, like, I'm a super, like...
Hypochondriac?
Yeah. So anything happens out of the ordinary for me, and I'm like, I go to the doctor. She's the opposite. Unless she thinks that it's about to kill her, like imminently kill her, not might kill me in a few months, like kill me instantly, she's not going to go.
Right.
So, anyways.
Well, I'm glad she's feeling better now.
All right. Well, are you ready to get into some spooky stories?
Yeah,
because we've got some speak pipes.
Yeah, dude. I'm excited for those.
We've got some stuff to talk about.
Yeah. I saw one of the speak pipes was from Sterling.
Yeah.
And my first thought was, oh no, I butchered that Arkansas story. But I haven't listened to it, so I don't know what he said. Maybe he's adding some more context or something to that.
So do you have any comments, or do you want to get straight into the...
Not today. We had a couple more We Want Skips. That's still going.
I saw one that Skip said that.
Yeah, Skip did say that. And I'm like, hey, we'll make it happen.
Yeah. Tell us when you want it to happen, dude.
Skip, look at me. Look at me. Next time you're off of work on a weekday, hit us up and we will make it happen.
Does he get off on weekdays?
I don't know.
Try not to dox him too hard.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I don't want to say who he works for, but I imagine they're off sometimes when we're not. So
just let us know, dude.
Yeah.
Or just say you don't want to be on it. We don't have to play the gaslighting.
And if that's true, stop commenting.
I want to get on so bad.
Yeah.
And then every time.
And then he's like, we want Skip. But anyway, yeah, I mean, we had a couple of, just kind of random comments, but nothing that I wrote down.
No spooky stuff. Yeah, no. I don't think we got any emails.
No, not this week. I did check that.
Okay.
I did check that. And I checked the YouTube comments and stuff. There just wasn't anything that popped out to me to put in the mailbag today. So sorry about that. But let's get into the first speak pipe. You said we have two?
Yeah, we have two. This one's Micah's.
Okay.
What is up, good, dumb, fun bros? It's your boy Micah back with another call-in. First, just want to say thank you guys for having me last week. It was an absolute blast. Had a fun time. But I'm calling in because I have a spooky story. It was a cold, rainy, dreary October night. And, we're getting into spooky season. We were up late, past 11 p.m. And all of a sudden, I just hear this a buzzing. And as it's buzzing, I realize it's my phone. And I take it out of my pocket. And I'm looking around and I'm trying to figure out, who's calling me this late. And, man, I didn't recognize the number. And in the voice, I answered the phone. In the voice of the hash-slinging slasher, I hear,
turn this off.
We've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. Scariest thing in my life.
What a waste of time. I'm so upset
I feel riveted, dude. What a story.
I feel violated.
That's so scary. The hashing slasher, he had me going for a second.
The mash clinging,
the
bringing.
Flash minging. Now, my favorite part of
Micah,
that story
thank you.
is the part where he's like, I hear this buzzing.
Yeah.
And I perked up because I was like, wait a minute, what are we talking about?
Yeah, what's buzzing?
And then he said, it's my phone. All right, dude.
I saw this light in my house.
So is this the last one? Is this the last one we're going to let him submit on?
All I saw was spooky story with a ghost emoji. I didn't realize that was him.
You're banned, Micah.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah. I saw this light in my house, and I looked closer, and it was my bedroom light.
Yeah.
It's a normal thing.
Well, glad you survived, Micah.
Thanks, Micah.
Glad you're...
Most people don't survive.
That one got to you, huh?
The hash-slinging slasher. Well, I thought he had a real story. He was hyping it up like he's going to be like, hey, I got a story.
He got us.
Yeah.
This was a bit.
He
got us.
This is like the new Rickroll.
All right, well, we're going to open up... Matt, dude, okay, the next one is Sterling.
If Sterling does that, we're ending early. If Sterling does that
This is a 5-minute episode.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're going to say, thanks, everybody.
Sterling, it opens up and Sterling goes... I just wanted to follow up on my scary story.
Never gonna give you up.
Oh, man.
All right, save the day, Sterling.
Hey, guys, it's Sterling. Just want to say thanks for reading that article. I still get goosebumps with the story, mainly because of how I learned about the story. Essentially, I was doing a service project at this lady's house, and I didn't meet her that day. I didn't know she was paralyzed, but we raked her yard. We even raked the exact spot she fell out of the window, not knowing that. And I just felt so off. It felt so eerie and weird. And I ended up telling my friend that weeks later. And he said, well, you know why you probably felt that way. Here's the story. And it still gives me goosebumps. It's just such a weird story, and to me, the most real story about spiritual warfare that I've come in contact with. The one thing that they didn't write in the article that I've heard, and I can't confirm is true or not, is that burn victim, I was told, was burned because of a satanic ritual or something, and he whispered something into her ear and essentially transferred the demons over. I don't know if that's true. That's hearsay, but boy, is it spooky. Anyway, happy Spooktober. Keep it up, guys. Bye.
Hearsay, accepted as fact.
All right, we got to get out of here, dude, because that we're talking about passing it off.
I heard a story recently, and I've been absorbing so much of this type of stuff for Spooktober. I'm getting my stories confused, but I heard something like that where basically there was like a water meter reader or some sort of like electrician, like basically a guy who takes house calls for his job goes out to this house, and there was some sort of like exorcism going on when he got there, and they timed it so that the time, like he was scheduled to be there at like 11 a.m. or whatever, and the person doing the exorcism times it so that she's getting to like the climax of the exorcism at the time when this guy shows up at the house. And then he was like, and she left the door open, so he like knocks on the door and peeks in and hears somebody yelling and is like, what's going on? So he kind of peeks in, and then she looks him in the eye and points at him. And then he was like, well, this is weird, and he just turned around and left. And then he proceeds to be like tormented by an alleged demon for the foreseeable future after that. So that just reminded me of like the transferring of that like demonic force.
So the exorcist
allegedly
just did him dirty?
Oh yeah, 100%. They were like, we need to get this demon out of this house, but to do that, it needs a new vessel, basically. So
that sounds like a devil worshiper in disguise.
Yeah. So
like not a real exorcist.
Right. Yeah. I think as I'm talking about it, I think I remember which one it was. I'll send you the link because it was like
you get into all this.
It was a story.
You talk about, spiritual stuff aside, like proof aside, it is a undeniable fact that real people go out in the woods and they do these rituals in their homes, or they do it in the woods, or they do whatever. Like, people are out there trying to manifest some sketchy stuff.
Yeah.
But the scariest part of that story, which I don't know if I picked up from his original message and when he originally sent the story in, he had the weird feeling before he even knew about it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He said that, and I was like,
that's like your Gettysburg
yeah,
stuff,
dude.
where you're like,
he's just
like,
why does this house like suck?
Yeah. I hate it here.
Like he's just raking. He's like, I don't know why this sucks.
He's like, I mean, raking's not fun anyway, but this one's worse.
This one really sucks.
This one feels heavy.
But man,
yeah, that's crazy. Because like that just, I mean, imagine the way his heart sank. Like he says, it still gives him goosebumps.
Oh yeah, when you hear
when he's like, yeah, we were at that lady's house, and I just felt this weird like heaviness, eeriness, and the guy's like, why?
Obviously,
yeah. It's because they're demons.
Yeah.
Like, cue the Rick and Bubba, demons. But yeah, that's crazy. Thank you, Sterling. I mean, it's no hash slinging slasher, but just to recap, he's referring to that demonic like exorcism thing in Arkansas we talked about a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Where
with the article,
the nurse was helping a burn victim at her work. That's what he was referring to. And then all of a sudden she just like forgot how to do her job. She was an avid runner. She forgot how to run, like couldn't do normal day-to-day stuff all of a sudden, and then ends up falling out of her house, saying that
makes you want to interact with people even less.
Yeah.
Because at first you're like, yeah, you want to stay inside because the world's going crazy and people are dangerous and stuff. Now you got to worry about people giving you demon, giving you the demon fungus.
Yeah.
So, hey, I caught it.
I want to make a joke. But
I know. You saw me catch it though.
Well.
But
yeah, let's. I want to make the joke so bad I can't let it go. We got to move on.
Yeah,
we got to move on.
Throw it out there. I'll believe it.
No, we're not gonna.
All right, that's fine.
I'll tell you later.
That's fine.
But it's
we,
not
we
even,
both had the same joke.
probably.
We both had the same
Yeah,
joke.
probably.
So I wrote
Anyway,
down.
use your imagination.
I went and got some stories just based off, culminating from the stuff we've talked about.
Yeah.
So I just went and found some stories. I looked up on the internet. It was like trying to find people's stories that they typed out that they said, this is my story.
So these are real people with real stories that we don't necessarily know.
Correct. These are not anything submitted in relation to us.
Okay.
These are stories that I just went and looked for on the internet, like Reddit, Facebook, YouTube, just looking for people who commented their own stories.
Stuff that seem legit, like not like the first.
Well, it's hard when you're reading it. It's kind of hard, but
yeah.
So who knows? You tell me if you feel like any of these are fake news.
Well, hey, the good news is we don't know these people, so we can pick them apart if we want to.
That's true.
Yeah.
So the first one, ghost story. This person says, I was staying in a friend of my husband's house overnight. My husband and his friend had gone out for the evening, and I was settling down into bed. I turned off the light and went to sleep. Sometime during the night, I get the sense of someone watching me, and I open my eyes to see my husband standing at the foot of the bed. Well, not exactly my husband. I see the dark outline of a man with his shoulders slumped slightly forward and his head bowed. I say my husband's name and reach for the side light. When I turn it on, the shape vanishes. Needless to say, I messaged my husband to make sure that it wasn't him somehow, and sure enough, he was still out with his friends. Now, I would have chalked this up to my eyes playing tricks on me, except when I mentioned it to my husband's friend's mother, she brought up the fact that their house was haunted by the spirit of a farmer who died on the second floor where I was staying. So that's my ghost story.
That's crazy.
That goes back to, I think a lot of when people say houses are haunted and situations like this, I think that's like a bad energy left out. Like going back to the bad energy theory.
Yeah.
Like if that guy tragically died in his house, like just a horrible death in his bed, like maybe he was in a lot of pain or something. He was just like, and it left this imprint on reality.
On space and time.
I guess. In that bedroom specifically.
Yeah. I feel like if I'm staying at someone's house, that's like information I need to know.
You ask before.
Yeah.
From now on, we're going to ask
Yeah.
everybody we go to. We're like, all right, you got any deets about this house?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna start emailing hotels when
Yeah,
I check in for a vacation. I'll be like, just to verify,
amenities.
nobody's died in this hotel, right?
Is there a pool, hot tub,
Now,
breakfast? Any tragic history I need to know about?
again, not making light of any of these people's stories.
Right.
You're just trying to keep it light.
Good dumb fun.
But
yeah.
So this story mentioned that it was on the second floor. So if my bad energy theory is correct, what happens when you tear the house down? Is he just floating?
Floating ghost.
You gonna see him 30, 40 feet in the air? Or how? And that's probably way too tall
That's
for a
big
house.
Yeah.
Well, I'm bad at dimensions. 6 to 12 feet.
Sure.
But that's a spooky one. And,
Yeah.
since it's... Now that we've got... Because now we're going to come out with it, because this is the episode.
Yeah.
We were saving our stories, our personal stories.
We're doing that today?
For
Awesome.
the end of Spooktober.
Yeah.
So
Little climax.
I felt like my story was as closely related to a ghost story, so that's why I
Sure.
wanted to lead into mine with a ghost story.
Okay. So now you're telling your story
I'm going to tell my story
about something that happened to you.
to me.
This is okay. So this was when I asked Patrick, "Have you ever seen something you can't explain?" This is what he told me.
Yeah. And
Take it-
before I tell it, I want to tell your reaction, because I don't know if you remember how you reacted.
I don't.
But I remember the look on your face, because I could tell you asked it in a harmless way. Like you were like, yeah, what's your story? And then I proceeded to stone face, sit down and tell you the entire story. And you were like, that's a lot, dude. So,
It's
okay.
like if I ask you how you're doing, you're supposed to just say fine and move on.
Exactly. You're not supposed to actually. Yeah. So I was a young child. So I was probably between the ages of 6 to 8. I don't remember how old I was, because, again, I just remember I was a small child. I was visiting my grandparents' house, who live in Alabama.
Okay.
They're passed away now. And the house, I was gonna Google Maps the house to do a better illustration, but I'll just start it. So, no, I'm gonna wait. Okay, sorry, I'm getting
Suspense.
scrambled.
That's okay.
anyways, to my story. So one night I'm staying at my grandparents' house, and my grandparents, their house lived on a hill and had a long driveway down the hill, and there was a pond, a small pond. And when I say small, I mean it was probably 20 foot by 40 foot across. Like it's a very small pond.
Okay.
With a very tall bush next to it. So one night, it was a full moon. It's out in the country. So with it being a full moon and a clear sky, you could see everything out there. Because from the house down the driveway to the pond was clear land, flat land, and then trees on both sides. So it was a very clear clearing, and you could see everything. Like you could make out very vivid details from the light. And I don't know what compelled me to look outside that night. Maybe it was just, I was like, oh, it's pretty outside, because it's bright. It's like, oh, I can see things, maybe I'll see a duck or a deer or something, and I go up to my bedroom, and my bedroom is facing the driveway, and I open the windows, and I'm scanning everything in front of me, and finally when I look down, I'm looking at the pond and the bush next to it, and in between the bush and the pond, there is what I can only describe as a white figure that what it looked like to me, I could make out the distinction of a head, and I could make out the distinction of a neck and shoulders, and then the rest was like a robe of white. And so I'm looking at it from the head, and I'm like, that looks like a head. And as I'm taking in the details, so I see white head, no facial features, smooth. There's no nose, no eyes, there's no socket, there's no nothing. It's like a orb with a neck. And again, there's no features. And I was far away. Obviously, I wouldn't see like veins or anything, but clearly the moon was reflecting off of it, and I could make out no face. It was like an orb with a neck, and then it veered into what could have been shoulders, and then it looked robish, like it was clothes. But then when I look at the bottom, I can see there's a clear shadow that it's casting on the ground, but it's not touching the ground. And I can tell that it's hovering on the ground. And as I'm looking at it, I get the whole scope of it, and naturally I freak out.
Yeah.
I don't know if I screamed, because nobody came in. I didn't go to anybody or anything. I was just paralyzed with fear. I slam everything shut. I'm like, I get halfway in bed, and I'm kind of like, okay, that was wild. Am I free? Like, am I dreaming? I'm like pinching myself, all this stuff. I'm like, I'm awake. I'm conscious. I do that when I'm trying to figure out if I'm awake or not, because I don't lucid dream. So, but when I'm awake, if I'm like, am I seeing something weird? Pinch myself, and then I go through like a random exercise in my brain where I'm like, okay, what did you do this morning? Yeah, that kind of stuff. So I do all that, and I get back up, and I look outside, and it's still there. It hasn't moved. And I'm looking at it. So now I'm taking in the details, like really seriously. I'm looking at it. I'm like, what is it? And I realize that it's next to the bush, and I know how big that bush is. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, it's as big as the bush. Now, it's not touching the ground, but it's at least 7 foot long from what I'm looking at. And I'm like, I'm just looking at it, and I'm trying to take in the details. I keep doing I close the blinds, open the blinds, close the blinds, open the blinds. I keep looking at it, and I looked at this thing on and off, because I kept having bouts of fear. It was like I would look at it, fear, close it, try to go back to bed. I'd get up 10 minutes later, look at it, it's still there. And I looked at it for hours, and it never moved. There was at one point, and again, because it's been so long, my memory's kind of hazy. At one point I thought maybe it floated a little bit towards the house, but if it did, it floated maybe all of 3 feet. But it stayed. And I just remember soaking in all those details. And finally, and again, little kid brain, like you rationalize everything. So I went, well, it hasn't moved all night, and I'm super tired. Like I was about to pass out. And I was like, well, he'll either be there in the morning or he won't be. And I went to bed. And I woke up the next morning, didn't say anything to anybody. But before we left, I asked my dad and my grandpa at the lunch table. I was like, hey, is there any urban legends about things?
You ever seen anything weird in the woods?
Yeah, have you ever seen anything? And they were like, my dad was like, I've seen weird things, but it was not related to what I was saying. And then my grandpa was like, yeah, there's an urban legend around here about a white thing that appears when people die, and it'll show up days after the person dies, and people have tried to shoot it, and people have tried to do all this sort of stuff. And so he's saying that, and my little kid brain is like, oh, it's real. And I asked him if he had seen it, and he was like, yeah, I've seen it. And then he wouldn't talk about it. He was just like, yeah, I've seen it. So that's my
Eat your Cheerios.
Yeah, that's my story.
Wow.
And yeah, so freaky.
What bothered me the most is the way that you like, you did your reality checks, and then you go back and look, and it's still there.
Yeah.
For hours.
Yeah.
And then, you can almost chalk it up to be like, okay, I did my reality checks, but maybe I was delirious or dreaming somehow still. And then you ask your grandpa about it, and he's like, yeah, I've seen it. And then proceeds to describe exactly what you saw.
Yeah.
Unprompted.
Yeah.
Like, that gets me more than anything, is like, okay.
People corroborating the same thing.
Right. And it's not like you described it first. And
I didn't say anything. I just asked.
He was like, yeah, I've seen that. He was like, oh, yeah, let me tell you what I've seen. And then describes what you saw unsolicited.
Yeah.
That kills me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but the thing is, I remember it so vividly because it happened for so long.
Yeah.
Like, I remember...
You had time to take it in. And
thinking about, like, what should I do?
Yeah.
I was like, do I wake people up? Do I scream? It's not doing anything. And also, if I go in and tell people I see a weird figure out by the... Are they even... I'm having all these thoughts.
Yeah.
But
like, you don't want people to think you're crazy.
It went on for so long. And I was just like, is it ever going to leave?
Yeah.
And then we woke up the morning, and it was gone.
Did it ever move? I know you said, like, location-wise, it maybe moved 3 feet, but, like, did you see any, like, movement about it? Like, did its head move?
No.
Did its robe move? Did it float up and down at all? Like,
no.
It was just
it hovered right
static.
there. Yeah.
Just static the whole time.
And there was no physical features that I could make out. Maybe if I think really hard, maybe it might have, the bottom of it may have sort of like rustled in the wind, but I don't know that. I don't remember that.
And this was overnight, so it was dark outside.
It was dark. Now everything was illuminated.
Right,
like I could see it very clearly.
Yeah.
But it looked like, again, from if you were like the top of my shoulders up, it looked like a shapeless person. But then from the top of the shoulders down, it was like as if it was robed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember kind of seeing like it looked like it was kind of silky, almost like a fabric, but it didn't move.
Mm.
And it never, like, if there was wind or anything, it never brushed up against, if it was something underneath it, there was never ever, it was always smooth enough and there was no outlines underneath it. So I never got the impression that there was anything underneath, if it was like a cloak or something.
And did it look like a solid thing, or was there any, like, transparency about it?
No, it was solid.
Okay.
It was solid white.
Solid white. Was it glowing, or was it
not
illuminated
glowing.
by a house light?
It was illuminated by the moon.
The moon. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember you telling me that.
And again, I could see the shadow underneath it.
Right.
I could tell it. Well, and I could tell the way the house was angled and everything. I could see underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could see past it.
Yeah.
And could tell that there's nothing underneath it.
Yeah.
There was nothing where it could hang. Like nothing. It wasn't, because I've told this to people in the past, and they said, "Well, you got pranked," or
right.
It was something, and I was like, "Well, there's nothing that they could have done that I can think of to the area that it was at. There was nothing for it to hang from. There was nothing for you to prop underneath it, because again, with this moonlight, I would have saw it.
Yeah.
And so I can't think of it. Plus, we didn't know anybody up there. My grandparents weren't super well known, so it was like, it's not like the odds of us being pranked are astronomically low, because it's
right.
like nobody really.
Yeah, who was going to prank you?
Unless they just picked a random house and it happened to be us. But again, I can't.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, I can't.
You can't explain
yeah. What it could have been.
Yeah, because based on, like, I mean, you got the corroborating story from your grandpa about, legend has it there's this thing.
Yeah.
And then he describes what you saw. So it's like, okay, I guess the legend's true and that's what it was. Setting that aside, if you had to say this was not a, urban legend, how would you explain it? You just can't?
I mean, the only thing...
Like,
I
how do
know
you fit it in your...
It's not an animal.
Sure.
I'm just checking off what it isn't.
Right.
It's not an animal. I don't think it's a ghost. Like, I don't think it's a ghost of a person because I don't believe there's ghosts of people. I don't think people are haunting Earth. So that kind of goes to the Rick and Bubba. I've only got two options. It's either good or it's not good. But if it was either, that's what I can't rationalize in my worldview is what was the purpose of it.
Right.
Because when I think back to it, there was nothing that happened in our family, at least that I was aware of as a kid. Now,
Right.
maybe somebody died and I just didn't know about it, but it didn't do anything.
Maybe
the only thing it did was scare me.
Yeah.
That's the only thing it did. So I don't know.
Okay.
Other than maybe it's an angel or a demon, I guess.
Do you think it was aware of you?
I haven't even.
Not to haunt you with that question.
It's crazy that you say that. I've never thought of that.
Yeah.
I never thought about what it was doing.
Yeah, because from your story, it just stood there until the morning, and then it was
I think
gone.
it had to have known. Because I was doing this number through the blinds.
Was the light on in your room?
No.
Oh, I was going to say, it just keeps
but,
seeing this light.
It just kept seeing the blinds open. But again, with the moon, I can't understate how bright the moon was.
Right.
If you were at the end of the driveway and you were looking up at the house, the moon was so bright you would have seen me open the blinds.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you go outside, especially on a full moon night, but not it doesn't even have to be a full moon
in
night.
backcountry.
There are some bright moonlit nights.
Yeah. And when you're talking, there's not really any street lamps.
Yeah.
We're out in the country, like. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So.
Maybe someone died in the area and it just had the
That's
wrong,
what I'm thinking.
They had the wrong address.
That was the thing when my grandpa told me that. That's what I assumed. I was like, oh well, somebody must have died. But then I was like, well, why is it here?
Yeah.
Nobody here has died.
Yeah. Wrong
unless
house.
unless it was somebody that.
It was like, my bad.
He's watching me open the blinds and he's waiting for his bit. He's like, wait. And he opens up his little ghost sheet.
His Rolodex.
I'm at the wrong house.
His ghost Rolodex.
And
He's
he
like,
doesn't realize until the sun starts coming up. He's like, the sun's about to come up. Ain't nobody come outside.
He's like, I'm going to have to come back tomorrow. It's going to really set me behind.
So continuing on, that's my story.
Thank you for telling your story.
And most people, I will say that when I've told that story, most people look at me like you do, where you're like, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really haven't ever had people just straight up call me a lunatic to my face. I've had some people who are like, you were a kid. Like, the whole, you were a kid, obviously you misremembered it or you made it up in your kid brain. And I was like, that's fair. But I feel like with most stories of kids saying they see something, it's like they saw something and then it was gone, not I watched this thing all night.
Yeah.
Like, because I watched it 4 hours.
You're like, I was vigilant.
When I tell you, I probably started watching it at like 11 p.m. whenever the moon was at its peak, 11 p.m. or midnight whenever the moon was at its peak. And the sun was about to be up. Like, not daylight yet, but the moon was starting to get real low.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched it probably from 11:30 p.m. or 11 or midnight to at least 3 in the morning. Like, I watched it for hours.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
What
We
do
got a
you do?
Bigfoot story.
Okay, hit me.
So this person, and I didn't realize, when you look into a lot of modern accounts of Bigfoot, a lot of stories that I found, they, like, when I say modern, I mean from like 2000 onward. A lot of people describe hearing this thunderous roar, and that's what this story shares. This story says, I was in Tobyhanna State Park in 2014. I found this strange pocket of woods that felt like another world. It was so beautiful, it was surreal. And then it was quiet, like everything stopped. And I heard something between a howl and a roar. It was close, it was deafening. I could feel the sound. I couldn't even tell where it was coming from. I had no intellectual curiosity whatsoever. My legs thought for me. I ran in no chosen direction. I just ran. Half an hour later, I found myself near some campground restrooms, got my bearings, got myself back to the car. I did not see what it was, but I can't think of anything else on Earth that could make a sound like that.
That's crazy.
And when you think about something like that, now I've never been near a bear before and heard a bear make a sound, but I have been to a lion enclosure or a tiger enclosure where I have heard a tiger or a lion roar. And when an animal like that vocalizes like that, it's true. What he's describing of feeling it,
Yeah.
that's a weird feeling.
It like vibrates
when
your
something's
sternum.
so loud and you're like, to hear an animal make that sound. So I get that feeling, but also I don't think Tobyhanna State Park has lions running around.
I don't even know where
Also,
that
I
is.
think if it was a lion, I think by the time he heard that, he probably wouldn't have been writing the story.
Yeah. Do you know what state this is in?
I forgot to look it up.
Okay. Yeah, that is crazy. But, I mean, anybody who spends any time in the woods will tell you if everything goes quiet suddenly, it's because there's a predator around.
Yeah.
And so that's your first clue.
Yeah.
Like, time to go. But also, yeah, for it to be that close. Well, and also, he describes or she, I don't know, describes the scenery just being beautiful and surreal, like another world. Like, it almost makes you wonder, like, why is there no, like, lookout spots there? Why is there no, like, if you're in a state park, you'd think that an area in the state park described that way would be more highlighted by the state to, like, draw people in and, like, hey, get your picture taken.
Yeah, it reads to me like, because this is such a short account, it reads to me like this person went off the trail.
Yeah.
And then because they ran, they ended up autopiloting back
Yeah.
to the trail. And
But what I'm saying is, if I'm the state park director, I'm making the trail go through that area.
oh yeah, for sure.
If it's that beautiful and surreal and scenic,
yeah,
unless there's a reason not to.
yeah.
And,
And we all know that everything government related, it's all cover up.
for sure.
If Bigfoot's out there, it's covered up.
Yeah, they know.
They're gonna send us NDAs. They're gonna send us NDAs
Yeah,
soon.
this will be our last episode.
So I can't imagine going out, and maybe it's also my fear of the woods. I can't imagine going off any trail and wandering out in the nothingness.
Not by myself.
Yeah. Well, I'm never by myself. I've got that thing on me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, this person took off running. They didn't say anybody was with them.
Yeah.
So either they left their buddies behind or they were
So-
by themselves.
This next one is an alien story,
Okay.
and this one's pretty freaky.
Man, we're covering the whole Spooktober.
We're covering everything.
All right.
So this one's pretty spooky. Do you
Okay.
want? Well, I should stop. Do you want to do yours before this one or after this one?
It doesn't matter. I don't know what mine was.
Yeah.
Like, I've never claimed it was alien related.
Okay.
It was just something I can't explain. So, but since we're talking about it, I can just go
Okay.
instead of saving it.
This way.
So mine was based on where I was and who I was with before, it had to have been 2016 or 17, kind of around the time of the year where summer's transitioning to fall, there's chill in the air. I was hanging out with a buddy of mine who was in town going to school, and got him dropped off at his house, and then I was heading home, and it was not dark outside, but the sun was going down. Like, it was still daylight. Like, the sun was not setting yet. It was just going that direction. So, I'm driving home, and I've told you this. I could take you to the spot where I was. I was on the interstate in just outside of Omaha, Nebraska, and I was coming up on a specific exit. It was the Irvington Street exit. I'll just tell it because this is where I was. So
We can put it on there.
You don't have to. I mean, you can if you want to. That's extra.
Just the Google Maps.
That's extra work for you.
Google Maps.
But so I was coming up. I was going east on Interstate 680, and I was coming up on the Irvington exit. And the Irvington exit, I wasn't exiting, so I was continuing on the interstate, but I had to go under the Irvington Street bridge that goes over the interstate. So as I'm approaching the bridge, I see this like bright, almost like a LED color ball in the sky, and I thought it was a drone or some sort of light that they had hung. But then I looked and I was like, there's no way they could have done that because it was right in the middle of the bridge. Like, it was probably like 30, 40 feet up above the bridge. I could clearly see where the street lights were because they weren't even on yet. None of the street lights that are around like a interstate on-ramp, off-ramp, bridge area. None of them were on because it was still daylight. I could see all of them. You know, the big ones that have like 8 lights on them that look like a
like on an
spaceship?
interstate
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, so it's like, I know it wasn't that because I could see all of those and none of them were on. This one was directly above the bridge in the middle, and it was probably like, if I had to guess, it was probably no more than 3 feet wide and maybe 2 feet tall. And the only way I can describe it is it was just light. Like, it did not look like a drone with lights on it. It looked like light, just this ball of light. And the closer I saw it from a distance, and I was like, "What is that?" And I'm driving. I'm getting closer to it, and I'm looking at it the whole time. And I'm getting to the point where I'm like, kind of squatted down at my. What
the heck is that?
I'm like staring at it, trying to figure out what it is. I'm driving, and I'm kind of bent over, looking up to see it because I'm that close to it, and then. Because I was trying to see if this is a drone, you'll be able to see the drone. Because, like, from a distance, it would make sense. If a drone had a bright light on it, all you'd be able to see is the light. But the closer I got, all I could still see was light. And then, as I approached it, and as I was getting closer, trying to, like, see what it was, I still couldn't make any sense of it. And then, all of a sudden, it took off straight up into the air, like a flash, dude. It wasn't like I saw it like rising into the sky. It took off. Like, it shot up, straight up. Never saw it again. I went under the bridge. I looked in my rearview mirror. I kind of looked over my shoulder. Couldn't see it. It just took off straight up into the air as fast as you can imagine. And I had no idea what I just saw. I didn't tell anybody about it. And I pretty much just tried to move on because it was one of those things where I was like, I don't have a clue what that was. It does not fit anywhere in my worldview. Yeah. And so I'm just going to try to forget about it and move on. Yeah. And then I would think about it periodically. And I never did tell anybody about it until I think I told my wife about it years later. And because we were kind of talking about stuff like, have you ever seen anything you can't explain? Stuff like that. And then I think you were the first person I told outside of that. And because we were just talking about this stuff in the office. And then I don't know if you remember how you reacted to this story. But, yeah. And I might let you tell it if you remember because...
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, because I told this story and I was like, I have no idea what it was. I've never heard anything about it. I've never seen anything like it since. I cannot make any sense of it. And then... you told me a story about, I don't know if you want me to say who.
Yeah, it was my dad's story. My dad has stories.
Yeah, so then you tell me, you proceed to tell me a story that your dad told you.
Yeah.
That really shook me up.
So I'm trying to remember, and you tell me if you remember, because some of this is
He was
like
driving. I remember he was driving.
My collection of how we ended up telling each other is kind of off. So... Did I tell you my dad's story before you told me?
No, I told you
after.
And
okay.
I told you, and then you were like, "My dad's seen the same thing."
Okay.
And then you told me a story about when he was doing over the road trucking.
So I just want to clarify for the listeners, what I'm about to tell you is a story my dad has told me. He's told me multiple stories similar to your story. And when I told you my dad's stories for the first time, you look like you were about to vomit. You legit looked sick. You were visibly upset.
Because it confirmed that I saw what I saw.
Yeah.
Even though
you weren't tripping.
Like, I knew I saw what I saw.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what it was. But then when I heard your dad's story, I was like, that just confirmed.
Exactly the same thing how I felt when I talked to my grandpa. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my dad has multiple stories when he was a young man talking about these weird lights that he's seen. And, you know, there's the predominant theory of people who believe in aliens and all this other stuff is that whatever these balls of light are, they're always around water, you know?
Yeah, and I'll touch on that after you tell this.
Because all these stories involve water.
Bodies of water.
From what my dad's seen. So my dad describes one time, the first time he saw the lights was he was fishing at night. He was out fishing, and he describes that there was about a 20-foot incline hill out on the other side of this fishing spot he was at. So if he's on like a small lake or a lake channel, it was probably 100 feet, maybe 200 feet from where he was at in the boat to land, and then 20 foot up.
Mm-hmm.
So 200 foot cross of water, 20 foot up. He describes seeing out of nowhere a bright light shining from all directions, from behind the tree line on the hill.
As if it was light itself.
As if he didn't, now in this story, he didn't see something that was a manifestation of light.
Yeah, oh, because it was
so
far away.
He
That's
describes that something was emanating light from behind the trees, and it was bright enough that it went out in every direction. So it wasn't like if you think of the way he's described it, you think of car lights, when you see car lights shine through the night.
Yeah.
It was like that, but in every direction around it. So in that whole the whole area became lit up.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly.
Like he was out there and it was dark.
And then light.
Okay.
And he describes like it was a weird orangey, like it didn't feel like a natural color. It was almost like it was the sun. Like he was like, but it's 1 o'clock in the morning.
And see, mine was more of that like white blue LED color, but
and he's just like, I just felt scared because as he was looking at the light, he's like, well, obviously that's not somebody's vehicle because it's shining everywhere and it's so bright. He's like, what would cause this amount of light? Because again, we're talking, this is in the 60s. He's like, what could be making that amount of light that just happened? How
many lumens that thing?
So that he got the dang on him. The second one, and to me this is the craziest story. And my dad is hilarious because he tells the story with such like flatness that he's just like, yeah, this is what happened. And that's it. I'm like, you don't have any feelings about this of what you're doing? He's like, yeah, it's weird. I'm like, no, hold on, stop. So he describes that him and his buddy are fishing on. If a river, it's like there's a piece of land that is dividing a river. So I don't know if it was the Alabama River. I don't know if it's one of the smaller ones, but there was the river, and then the river was split by this embankment piece of land, and then reconnects. So they're on one side of the river, and the bank is probably 7 or 8 feet at the top, so it slopes and then back down to the other side. So they describe that him and 3 or 4 of his buddies, they're fishing off this side of the embankment, and they hear a buzzing noise, like a high-pitched.
Please tell me it wasn't their phone.
No, they didn't have cell phones back then. So he hears this buzzing, almost like a bug, like a bug buzzing, like
a cicada.
But it
trying
was,
to get off the ground.
It was super loud, and it got louder and louder and louder. And then they hear behind them, what they describe as an explosion. They go, it sounded like a bomb went off. So they hear this boom, and then they're like, what? However, Alabama, I probably can't say what they would say.
Right.
But they were talking, they're like, what in the Sam heck was that? And they knew it was behind them, and so they climb over and they look, and the water has been disturbed, like something landed, like a meteorite or something. Something huge impacted the water, and the water was still, when you like drop a huge rock, and that middle area, like the waves have pushed out, but then that one area is still just disturbed.
Yeah.
He said in that disturbance, he describes what was probably 6 foot by 6 foot across. Like he just describes seeing not a object, he just describes it looked like something was glowing underneath the water, and he watched the light underneath fade.
And that's what happened.
Crazy.
That is insane.
Crazy.
So, bouncing off of that story, a year or two ago, I'm watching, I think, one of the Missing 411 documentaries. Like, not the YouTube channel, but like one of the actual, like...
The ones they put on Amazon?
Yeah, or like Fubo or Tubi or whatever it is. Like the full-blown documentaries. And there was, I think it was the hunting one, about the hunters that go missing. And they described, it was towards the end of the documentary, just very casually, one of the hunters describes like, oh yeah, we were out there hunting or fishing or doing whatever we were doing, and we saw these dancing balls of light in the distance. And I like, my ears perk up, and I was like, you what now? And then they did like a reenactment of it, or like a rendition.
Recreation.
Yeah, recreation of what they saw, and literally exactly what I saw over the bridge.
Bro.
And I think I almost called you. Like, I think I texted you, but I was like, that like made my heart
you need
sink.
to watch this documentary right now.
Yeah, that made my heart sink because I was like, it was just another like, here's what you saw again. Like, and I've never called it alien. I've never called it anything. I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
I can't explain
weird.
It was weird. And then I heard about the body of water thing. Like, people have reported seeing these things, and it's always around a body of water. So I immediately go to Google Maps and I zoom into the Irvington Bridge, or Irvington Road Bridge over the interstate, and sure enough, right there, Lake Cunningham.
Yeah, dude.
And I was like, I can't.
I remember when
I'm going to bed.
I remember when you heard somebody, whatever you were watching, when they talked about the body of water theory and they were explaining all these stories. I remember you came in the next day and you were like, we're getting too close. You were like, we know too much.
Yeah, honestly, though. But it was just one of those things where I'm like, I saw this weird thing years ago, and I was in my 20s. Like, you talked about, like, people tell you, like, oh, you were just a kid, you probably just missed it. I'm like, dude, I was, like, I think 22, 23 years old. Like, I was fully aware of what I was looking at, and I didn't know what it was. But, like, yeah, it was crazy. But
the scariest thing is when somebody corroborates your story.
Yeah. Who wouldn't have known? And that's what we were saying
Yeah.
a week or two ago, where it's like you hear enough quote-unquote crazy people tell the same story. It's like they're seeing something.
But in our cases, what I think is scarier for me, listening to you tell your story and me tell my story, is that both of our stories were corroborated by real people that we know.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. It's one thing if it's the internet. If I post it, when we post this on the internet and 100 people go, hey, Patrick, Josh, we've seen the exact same thing. It's like, okay, well, there's a certain skepticism that's automatically assumed with the internet.
Right.
But in my case and in your case, it was like, oh, hey, either someone directly tied to you or somebody we know. In your case, my dad. In my case, my grandpa.
Yeah.
It's like having somebody directly in real life look you in the face and corroborate your story.
Yeah.
Makes it a million times freakier.
Yeah. Yeah. And in one sense, I'm glad of that. And in another sense, I'm like, I should have kept my mouth shut. I didn't need to know that. I felt better thinking I just saw things.
Yeah.
But that was the thing, is I knew I wasn't seeing things. Because like you laid eyes on yours for hours. I laid eyes on mine for probably 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
Like,
you saw it coming.
Yeah. So it's like,
as you're driving up on it.
Yeah, and it remained where it was until it shot up, and crazy stuff. But we gotta get going. So do you want to tell your? Let's do this one.
Well, I was just gonna say we can. Yeah, we can.
We have time to finish. I was just saying we should better.
We can read this story. So this is an alien story. Okay. First time I ever tried to write this down. First time telling anyone outside the family. I'm leaving out time and location and some other details because I'm still scared of what might happen with it publicly, I guess. This was on a public forum. Mm-hmm. Summer before 8th grade, me and my 2 friends snuck out at midnight to go walk around the neighborhood and go see these girls on the next block who were having a sleepover. We turn a corner in our neighborhood and there's this huge black blimp-shaped thing in the sky, like the pictures of the Hindenburg, but bigger than that and as close, if not closer, completely silent, and the size of at least 4 to 5 football fields across. No exaggeration, even though I was young. We stare at it in trance, asking each other over and over again if we see it, which we all agreed that we do, standing there frozen in one place. It's like black polished gunmetal, no lights, no sound, no anything, just hovering there. And I don't know what happened, but time clearly jumps. Next thing I remember, I lost my place. Next thing I remember is the craft ship government experiment, whatever it was gone, and there was a tiny glowing white barbell thing in the sky, seemingly slowly falling to earth with wisps of smoke coming off of it. Then 2 brand new black trucks with silver gearboxes on the back, like F-150s or S-10s, but nicer, came speeding down the street, going about 70 in a residential 25-mile-per-hour neighborhood. Then after that, I remember walking home into one of my friend's houses and going to bed. At that point, it was like 5 or 6 a.m. and the sun was coming up. We all made a promise to tell my dad in the morning because he worked for the city, but we never did. I don't know what happened later in life to one of my friends who was there, but one of my best friends, and we sort of made an unspoken pact never to talk about it. I don't know how or why we did that. We all grew up and I sort of lost touch with him too. We did reconnect over Facebook and such over the years, but it was like there was something between us neither of us wanted to touch or talk about. Looking back on it now, there's no way we could have been the only ones to see it. It wasn't that late at night, and it was over a heavily populated suburb of a major city. The idea of this has always scared me more than any sort of possible abduction scenario, that there were others, and we're all voluntarily suffering a sort of collective amnesia, except in how we're not. I've thought about hypnosis, but that scares me too. Plus, I'm not sure if I'd trust the results. I was just a kid then. I'm not sure if I could trust the hypnotist. What I do know, again, is that there's no way it was just the three of us who saw it. We're talking a huge thing hovering in the sky directly above hundreds of houses just after midnight on a summer weekend night. But nothing on the news, nothing in the paper, nothing on TV, no words spoken about it again ever by anyone. This is a true story. I'm a little older than the average around here, I think, but I know what creepypasta and stuff like that is. This happened, and there is no way that I'm the only one who remembers. No way. Thank you for letting me get that off my chest.
Yikes.
Sounds very similar to that story we did in the Alien episode about the Phoenix lights.
Yeah. Yeah, except in that case, there was a bunch of people who saw it, and then the government came out and was like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
And that was the end of it.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, I'm not a big alien believer, but 100%, like with the Phoenix lights or like this story, I'm like, sometimes a lot of this, the government has all sorts of things we don't know about, and we all know this. And I'm like, well, yeah, obviously, like, now that's a crazy size, what they're describing.
Yeah, 4 to 5 football fields.
But if there was some video of that and it came out, I'd be like, government.
Yeah. Well,
they've got a big battleship.
Right, yeah. Sky battleship for Space Force.
But I picked that story because I was reading it, and it was just like, I felt like I got the freaked out vibes from this person, the way they were describing the story. Yeah. So I was like, that's kind of spooky.
Yeah. I wish they were like, they said 2 brand new black trucks with silver gearboxes on the back, like F-150s or S-10s, but nicer, came speeding down the street going 70 in a residential 25-mile-an-hour neighborhood. And then he just moves on. I'm like, what'd they do? Where'd they, like...
Yeah, they were probably heading toward it.
Well, yeah, they were like coming to collect...
Billy, let the truck out again!
Yeah. Well, it's like, he talks about this glowing barbell thing falling from the sky slowly with wisps of smoke coming off of it, and then these trucks show up. I'm like, are they collecting whatever was falling? Yeah. Like, what was it? What'd they do? What'd they do with it? Like, what'd they look like when they got out of the trucks? Like, I wish he would have seen it, but maybe they buzzed by him and... Like, assuming they didn't stop right in front of him, I guess. Yeah. Would be the only way.
I bet they were probably heading... Could you imagine being your first day on the job as a secret government agent, and then you screw up by accidentally letting the Hindenburg 2.0 out? You accidentally gave them permission to fly, and then they're like, you idiot, you have worked here for less than 24 hours and you already let out top secret project number 38B, and now we got to go clean it up.
Yeah. It's like have you seen the Kingsman movies? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's a scene where in the Kingsman movies it's like a Secret Service agency, like just for people who haven't seen it, and this kid is being recruited to be a part of this secret government agency, and that kind of helps fight crime behind the curtain, kind of fighting crime people don't know about, sort of thing. And anyway, so he's like getting to pick out his attire and his weapons and stuff, and they're showing him all these things like, oh, here's a pen that also turns into a gun, and here's a cane that turns into a knife, and all this stuff. And then he sees on the shelf an iPhone, and they're kind of explaining like, we've had all this technology for years, and eventually the public catches wind of it, and then it becomes mainstream, but most of the stuff is is not. So he's showing him all the devices and everything, and then he points at the iPhone. He said, "What's special about this?" And the guy goes, "Nothing anymore." So it kind of makes you think, like, how long, this is a movie, obviously, so I'm not saying any of that's true, but you hear about stuff like this, and you're like, how long have we had this technology before we knew about it?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Well, it's like anytime
it makes you think.
Yeah, the government declassifies stuff like 20 years later.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, you should always assume that the powers that be are at least 20 years ahead.
Yeah, there's stuff happening in the news right now, and I'm like, this is going to be real interesting in about 30 years.
Yeah.
To know what happened.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's a crazy story. And like you said, kind of the hesitant, freaked out vibes, the way he wrote it, where he's like, look, I know what I saw. I've never told anybody this. Thanks for letting me get it off my chest. I feel better now, you know?
And whether it's aliens or Bigfoot or ghosts or whatever,
Or government.
there is this air of like,
Please don't black bag me.
Yeah. There is this air of like, you are afraid to talk about it because you're afraid of being ostracized.
Yeah, that's why I didn't tell anybody about mine for years.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know. I feel crazy.
Yeah.
Having seen what I saw, I feel crazy. And so I know if I tell anybody about it, I'm going to sound crazy. So
Right.
I'm just not going to tell anybody. Like, I get that.
Yeah. But it's, it's Spooktober.
Happy Spooktober. Now everybody knows.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure we'll be hearing about it over the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
But, all right. Well, that was fun.
That was fun.
What a good Spooktober.
Yeah.
What a great first annual. Thank you for being a part of the first annual Spooktober.
Yes.
This was fun.
It was fun.
Thank you for letting me do this. This was fun.
Yeah, this was...
Hope you had a good time.
I did. I like I told you before, like, stuff like this, no matter what you think about it, it's fun to talk about.
True.
And, the whole point of our show is to just have fun goofing around talking about stuff. So, it was a good time. I think that, I don't know what we're going to talk about next.
It's going to feel weird going back to like normal.
Yeah. But no,
we've got some stuff coming up.
Spooktober was fun. Thank you, everybody who submitted your own personal stories. And
the turnout was awesome.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. We had fun. And we'll see you next year, I guess, for more of this. But tune in next week for your regularly scheduled Good Dumb Fun. Having good dumb fun. Subscribe, ring the bell. Yeah. Hit us up at Good Dumb Fun on socials. Email us at gooddumbfunshow@gmail.com. Hit us up on SpeakPipe. And like and subscribe on every phone in your proximity. Yeah. And hey, listen, that'd be awesome. If the government's watching, throw us a bone. Like and subscribe. Yeah, it's okay. Come on. Why black bag when you can like and subscribe? Yeah. Anyway, we better go. All right. This has been fun. Happy Spooktober, everybody. Happy Spooktober. Hope you enjoyed it like we did. And I've been Josh. I've been Patrick. And you've been listening to the Good Dumb Fun Show. Ooh.